Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden met for their second and final presidential debate in Nashville tonight. You watched it right here. It began with a much more measured tone amid new rules to try to prevent the interruptions.
WGN political analyst Paul Lisnek followed the debate closely, joins us now with his analysis. Paul, let's start off with COVID. They talked a little about COVID. Before you talk, let's listen to the sound.
You got it.
And when you talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting a plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You just can't.
Look at the states that are having such a spike in the coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. They're the states in the upper Midwest. That's where the spike is occurring significantly. But they're all Americans. They're all Americans. And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. Make sure we get the help that the businesses need, that has money's already been passed to do that.
So, Paul, who wore it best?
Well, look, you know, in many ways that encapsulated what both of them think about this issue. With President Trump, it's a lot about the economy, and as he said, it isn't reasonable. You can't wrap people in plastic. You can't put up plexiglass. But of course, those people who are concerned about the health issue sit back and say, well, yes, you can, and yes, we need to. And we heard Vice President Biden talk about the importance of wearing the mask. So in many ways, that discussion sort of encapsulated how they both viewed it. When you you can almost shift that, Mike and Ray, into the notion of healthcare, because those are very closely related. And once again, President Trump almost always puts everything in the economic point of view, which is his right to do, and Vice President Biden is often want to basically look at things from both his tone and also making sure people are covered. I know we have some sound about the health care debate. Let's listen to that because it's related.
Is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it, and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer is Obamacare, because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option. It'll become Biden-care. The public option is an option that says that if you, in fact, do not have the wherewithal if you qualify for Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal in your state to get Medicaid, you automatically are enrolled, providing competition for insurance companies. That's what's going to happen.
All right. There was also a big discussion. Paul, do you want to make a point about that?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Ray. Look, the president kept looking at Biden and basically saying he wants socialized medicine. And Biden made the point of saying, look, I beat the 20 other people I was running against because I didn't want the socialized medicine. That is not my plan. And of course, when he went after the president, basically saying, you know, you can't just magically say people's pre-existing conditions are going to be covered, which is true. I mean, the reality of it is that on November 10th, the Affordable Health Care Act case will be heard by the Supreme Court with a new Justice Barrett on the court. And if it is found to be unconstitutional, then millions of people will be potentially without health care in an immediate sense. The president he didn't talk about it tonight, but he signed an executive order saying we will protect people's pre-existing conditions. You just can't do that without paying for it. So that was an issue that I wish they had gone a little bit deeper into between the two of them, because that's a tough one. They both said the right thing, but on that one, I think Vice President Biden gets the better angle on it, because it was a more realistic approach, which is without Obamacare, or whatever you want to call it, you can't protect pre-existing conditions or everything else, by the way. Kids on their health care plans till you're 26, all that kind of thing.
Right. Let's move on to another topic, and that was America's global relationships. One subject that did come up was the interference in the American election here, notably from Russia and China. What did you think, Paul, when the discussion really focused on the relationship that the president has with the Chinese president?
Well, that's one where we're all going to be watching for the fact checkers tomorrow and later tonight, because we had President Trump accusing Vice President Biden of all sorts of deals. That's where the Hunter Biden
Paul,
thing.
let's listen to it real quick.
Oh, okay,
let's listen to it real quick.
Number one. Number two, I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think.
He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family. It's about your family. You're sitting at the kitchen table this morning deciding, well, we can't get new tires, they're bald because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay the mortgage? Or who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making in the middle-class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont. They're in trouble. We should be talking about your families, but that's the last thing he wants to talk about.
So look, Biden was trying to address all of that. Basically, his shift all evening was to basically say, I'm an American president, I represent everybody, and this is not about me and it's not about him, it's about the kitchen table. So all of that is very Biden-esque. The problem is, in terms of addressing the Hunter Biden story, which is what the president was talking about, the reality of it is there could have been a better answer from Joe Biden. That story, which was reported by the New York Post, has been found by a lot of intelligence people to be disinformation. It has not been able to be verified by the New York Times, by the Wall Street Journal, or by the Washington Post. Biden would have been better off going in that direction, I think. As a final comment, if I made at the end, that maybe Welker's last question was the best. What would you tell people who didn't vote for you? Essentially, the president talking all about the economy, and I promise we'll have things to be better. And Joe Biden basically saying, I represent all of you. I'm an American president. I think that kind of capsulizes who they were for the evening.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, guys.